Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Alion. I just wanted to add, when we did the podcast, it was not even called the International, which is insane, how long we've met each other. I founded NIWA. NIWA means Network of International Women in Austria, and it's a community for migrant women to support them in professional development, financial literacy, as well as connections. I don't like the word networking, so I call it connections. You know, I don't like a lot of words. One of the other words is integration, right? So I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not sure if you've also felt this way, but when I moved here, it took me a very, very long time to feel like myself again. I was checking all of the boxes. I learned German quite quickly because it was the middle of the pandemic, so I could only do that. I worked really hard, I studied hard, I tried hard. I did everything I was supposed to do, and still I didn't feel like this country was my home. I was applying for hundreds of jobs with no answer. I could not, for the life of me, make new friends, and that was so weird because I'm an extrovert. I've always made friends. I even joined a football team, and I thought that was the peak of integration. That was the epitome of integration. I was thinking, oh my God, my teammates are going to invite me to their birthday parties, and we're going to do barbecues together in the summer. We did not. They had jobs, they had families, they had babies, they had their own life. They didn't have time for me. They didn't have time for new friends. So if you felt like this, know that you're not alone. So many of us have been or are still there. I was 25 years old when I left my home country of Mexico. 25 years of friendships, routines, family, culture, inside jokes. 25 years of building a sense of identity and belonging without even me noticing. And then I moved abroad, and suddenly I expected myself to rebuild all of this in 1 year or in 6 months. With people who did not grow up like me, do not share my childhood memories, or the foods that we like, or the TV cartoons that I watched, or my spicy level tolerance. And when that did not happen fast enough, overnight, I thought that the problem was me, that I was not integrating enough, that I was not trying too hard enough, or working hard enough, or that I was not enough. Someone asked before, how do you get rid of those thoughts? One of the things I do is that I do not believe everything I think. Not all of the things are in my head are true. And the truth is that the problem was not me, and the problem is not you. The real enemy most of us have is the loneliness. It's the lack of sense that we belong to something important, and that we are important in this country. The real enemy is the invisible struggle of starting again. It's the comparison. I compared myself a lot to a lot of people, and the feeling that everyone else has made it except for you, and that you should be stronger, faster, more integrated, more successful by now. We talk a lot about integration, but the more I observe, the more I realize that integration is not enough. You can learn a language, you can follow the rules, you can be not loud after 10 p.m., you can live and die at the MA35, and still feel like you don't belong. Integration is about understanding a system. Belonging is about being an integral part of it. Integration teaches you how to live here. Belonging teaches you why your presence here matters. We need to talk more about the difference between these two concepts, in my opinion. The Austria of today is not, thankfully, the Austria of 20 or 40 years ago. The population has changed, and as much as the FPÖ doesn't want it, it is inevitable. The needs of this country and its society, which is nowadays very, very much culturally mixed, have changed. I associate the push for pure integration with an old conservative idea of putting everyone in the same box, and the concept of belonging as an answer to the never-ending changes of this new society. People will contribute more, care more, and give more when they feel like this place is theirs, when they feel welcomed, seen, cared for, valued, and not just tolerated. People need community. And this is why I created NIWA, the Network of International Women in Austria. NIWA was primarily created to be a support community for migrant women. It is the very thing I could not find when I moved here. I always say that it's a very egoistical project because all of the workshops I do are the workshops I want to attend, and I get to attend them for free, although I do a lot of work for them. All of the networking events, all of our gatherings are things that I really wanted to do. It's a place where we, as women and immigrants, could feel understood, supported, and connected. A place where you walk into the room and feel like you can exhale, where you can rest, where you don't have to speak German. A place where nobody judges your accent, your outfit, your background, your mistakes in German. A place where women help each other, not because they want something in return, but because they know how hard it was to do it themselves. People always tell me that NIWA feels different. And it is because we are trying to protect each other from going through the same things that the other already went. We lift each other up. We don't see each other as competition. We don't do it at the expense of each other. We know that we have a common enemy, and the common enemy is the one I mentioned before. The loneliness, the anxiety of waiting for your Rotweißrot, who said that they had it rejected. Mine also took 8 months the first year. They wanted to expatriate me back to Mexico. It was the pandemic. And the left behind feeling. Most of us don't have a family here, but we have each other. I always compare, here you need to treat your friends like your family, right? So a lot of you gave some tips on how to create community, and it's fine. I don't say going to the salsa classes is not a good idea, but going to the salsa class is not enough. You have to go pick up your friend at the airport. When she's sick, you have to go and make soup for her. If someone tells you, I'm depressed, you cannot just say, oh, it's okay, I see you next class. You know, you need to go and help them clean their house. My best friend Gigi is here. Slagana is here, Amra is here, Alison, Deirdre, Linda, they are all part of the NIWA community. And we all support each other, and I know their lives, and I know what they're going through. So it's not enough just to show up and say, I'm here in this class. You actually need to put your body for it. That's how you actually create a community and not just a group of friends, superficial friends. Now we live in this era of self-care and boundaries, but we confuse self-care with isolation. And we confuse boundaries with ego. We confuse sacrifices with effort. Giving an effort for your friend is not making you sacrifice anything. It's actually helping you. With that in mind, we need to accept that building this type of community is not easy. We cannot move here and think that in 1 year we're going to have everything we always wished for, when in our home countries we didn't even have it during the first years. It took us a long, long time. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes showing up for others and for yourself. It takes giving people the benefit of the doubt. And it takes making friends with people that back in your home country you had never thought you were going to be friends with. So the thing is, everything we want in life gets easier when we don't do it alone. Finding a job, building confidence, learning a language, feeling safe, recovering from an accident, right? All of it gets easier when someone looks at you and says, I was there, and you're going to be fine. Belonging takes time. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are rebuilding. You are rebuilding actually really, really fast. If you look at what you did in 4 or 5 years, you're going to be so impressed of yourself. In 1 year even. Things that took decades to create in your home country. Of course it takes time. Of course it takes courage and heart and a lot of effort. You are building a new life from scratch in a place that was not designed for you, and still you're doing it. Every new connection you make, every event you attend, every time you ask for help, every time you offer help, you are building your home piece by piece. And when you choose community, when you choose to show up even when it's uncomfortable, and when you are already in bed and you really don't want to go to pick up your friend at the airport, when you do that, you are choosing the life you deserve. Community is not just a space or some people you know. It is a lifeline that every single one of us deserves to hold. Thank you.